So if you pull us over and you talking, black folks are already apprehensive because we don't trust you. I don't think you deserve to be trusted based on your history. Other people might be more trusted, but me personally, I think you earn the right not to be trusted. And people who do, I think it's foolish because a person has shown you over and over. It's take 400 years plus of torment, torture, just total devastation to a people. And then you want to go and let's go talk about some new legislation. We don't need legislation, man. This thing way past that point. These people is just crazy. It's not working out. Something has to change, and it's going to change. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much for tuning in. This is the Real Deal Fam Network. I am Andre, and this is my gorgeous wife, Essie. Boom. She is the boss. Thank y'all again so much for tuning in. And we do appreciate all the viewership we've been getting. We appreciate all the new subscribers and everybody who's been writing comments and just sending us out a lot of love. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, really appreciated it. Share. You know, we got good messages. We are trying to rep for our people, for our community, for our future, for our children, for your children. You know, we all need to work together as a unit. So share our message.
That's right. It's a global family. Thank y'all again so much. But if you hadn't had the opportunity yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the like and share. With that being said, we're going to dive right in. And we're covering the topic tonight. It's basically in regards to our community. And it entails a situation that happened the other evening in Atlanta, Georgia, when a young man named Rayshard Brooks was sleeping in a car at a Wendy's restaurant, and he was approached by the police. And from what happened, things ensued, and the young man ended up dead. And so allegedly he took off running. They do have video cameras in terms of the body cam, as well as cell phone footage, as well as the footage from the security at the restaurant, which kind of gives you an indication on what took place. It was a very unfortunate, very sad situation. Our condolences goes out to his family. This has been an ongoing event, keeps going on and on. So people in the media asking different questions, and a lot of people who are not from our community always want to know, well, why do they resist, or why did the young man run?
So this is one reprieve y'all get. We're going to answer questions white folks have, you know. They always have the same questions over and over again in each situation, and it never can sink in. So this is the last time we're going to answer questions on why the black people feel this way about the police. For contextual sake, here's an ad from 1851. It says, "Caution, colored people of Boston, one and all. You are hereby respectfully cautioned and advised to avoid conversing with watchmen and police officers of Boston. They would kidnap you and slave catch you." So African Americans have had a long history with watchmen or police officers.
Yes. Historically, everybody knows the backdrop of this story and the African American history on what we had to endure and what we went through in terms of slavery and being captured in the continent of Africa and being brought over here on slave ships. So the relationship has already been contentious and remains that way today.
400 years, 1619, and actually 2019 was 400 years. So this year's going on the 401 year. We're going 401 years of 2020. So for the whole 400 years, they had what was called watchmen. Yes. Or policemen, surveyors. They were there to basically survey or patrol the neighborhood. That's why they call them patrols and watchmen. You know that movie Watchmen? That was based on situations like that. So they didn't have what's called policemen back there. That was a relatively new term. But they would be watching over the slaves and the black people in the area. And they were, allowed to do, punishment and different treatments and different things on them. They would collect bounties and stuff for collecting and getting black people, kidnapping them. They would, if they killed a black person, they would have to pay the slave owner reparations for killing the slave. Yeah, for whatever reason. So they were supposed to do whatever punishment to you, but then return you back to the slave owner. So Black people have a long history with police officers. So
yes, it's been a very violent relationship, a very one wrought with total deception. And like my wife said, you go back into history and you see things like Watchmen. You also, as you come into the turn of the century, of the 19th century, after the slaves were released, and then you went into the Jim Crow era, things like that, then the Klan evolved. And even though they had such things as police and all that stuff was kind of new at the time, they didn't even have the FBI at that time. Most of the people that were in law enforcement were members of the Klan. Most of the people that hold political positions in the local municipalities were in the Klan.
That's right. And so police officers were basically the security guards for those people that were in office. And they were still the watchmen over the black community, which the black community was like economic base or foundation of the country, and you always had to keep a watch over to see what was going on, make sure they didn't prosper, make sure they didn't try to move out, make sure they didn't try to progress, or whatever it was. Through different variations of restrictions and oppressions, the policemen were there to guard. So now you have a situation called what do they call them? Becky's or
Karen's.
Okay, so those are examples of the things that used to go on. And Emmett Till is an example of a Karen. A white woman hollers out and says something happened to her, whether it's you're parked on the line or whether you accidentally brushed up against her or whatever the mundane circumstances are. The policemen are the ones to come out, or were the ones to come out and enforce and basically hang you up.
Right. And so you can see the tensions building, and it's getting to the point where it is today. That case of Emmett Till was one of many. If you go back and you look at the history books, you'll see several African Americans being lynched. And not only at these lynches was it like a couple people or things of that nature, it was like a community gathering where there would be women, children, and men now. And you would also see law enforcement sometime in the photos. So
right. The word picnic is from go pick up and go string them up, so we can teach everybody else around here, you better be quiet and stay in line and do whatever you're supposed to be doing. That's where the term picnic, and all the white folks in the neighborhood will come out with their children to show their children this is what how you dominate over black people. Okay, and so it's been 400 years of this. So you ask, why did he run?
He ran because there's a history there of untrust and mistrust. Like we just said, there were events where people were hung from trees, and like I said, there was law enforcement involvement allegedly at these particular scenes. So anytime you get an African American in a situation like that, it could be contentious like that. He doesn't trust the police. And as you can see, Mr. Ahmaud Arbery was recently killed. Miss Breonna Taylor was killed in the house. All of these are different things. This is not by random acts of violence by people in the community.
400 years of violence.
Yes, this is interactions with law enforcement. So the black community, they're only, according to their records, only 13% of the population, but get arrested and have police killings and things like that 2 times the rate of white people, which makes up the majority of the society. So the numbers don't add up. Of course, there's an economic prospect to the whole situation. And we're not acting like African Americans do not commit crimes. They do. But there's nowhere in the world you got 13% of the population committing the majority of the crimes. And if they do commit a crime, most of the time, just like with Mr. George Floyd's situation, it was over alleged counterfeit $20 bill. That should not end in somebody dying. That is not that serious. Anybody on the street would have gave that shop $20 to just kill the situation. It should have never escalated. Most people don't even know they're
walking around if they have a counter. They done got too. But above all, The main thing is
no trust.
Yeah, there's no trust. There's what we have in this country called 13th Amendment. What does the 13th Amendment say? As if you are arrested and convicted of a felony, you are no longer allowed to be basically a citizen. You are basically, a slave. So that's the reason why prison incarceration is so high for African American men. They're allowed, companies and industries are allowed to go and take prisoners and use them as slave labor and pay them cents or nothing for work. A lot of the work around the city is done by slave prisoners, basically. A lot of work around the industries. I know a lot of companies, they use them to farm, to sell groceries and vegetables and produce in their stores. So slave labor they need to fuel the slave labor allows them to have all these bodies to use as labor. And that's where police come in. They're still slave catchers in the black community, watchers and catchers. So if you get arrested, sometimes if you don't have the bond money to get out, you can literally stay in jail for a year or so, just in the system, not even being charged for nothing because you don't have the bond money to get out. Right. Therefore, you're a slave.
Right. So the title slave has changed, but the institution still remains today.
Right.
It just morphed into a different form. And like myself, my wife says it's a very profitable business in terms of the way the dominant society look at things.
Human labor.
Once you get arrested, most people don't realize that from other cultures because they don't go to jail as often.
Exactly. You get a slap. Oh, sir, just sleep it off in your car. Oh, walk home. Oh, we'll drive you home. Okay. Black people are not afforded that. Okay. So he knows it's dangerous to be in the vicinity with the police officer. That he's going to try to run because police officers have a bad rep when it comes to the black African American community. It's dangerous to be around them, statistically based.
Right. And a lot of people say what I've been hearing is that the officers always tend to overreact when it comes to African Americans because most of them are afraid. So to me, like what the old saying is, if you're scared, go to church. That's not a profession for you if you're scared and you're going to be patrolling the African American communities. You need to be trained in a way of how to deal with different types of people. You don't know if a person you walk up on is having some kind of epileptic seizure. You don't know if they have a mental problem. You don't know anything. You need to be able to assess the situation. Once you got it under control, you always want to de-escalate everything and get it under control.
Well, we still don't know. The police, the one thing he didn't say was what was the results when he read the breathalyzer. All he did was read the breathalyzer and said he was under arrest. Most of the time, the police will say, oh, well, sir, your breathalyzer says this, and under state law, it's only allowed to be this. He didn't never say that. So that leads you to believe, okay, if you're using inference skills, that the breathalyzer probably didn't read what it's supposed to read if you're going to get arrested. Right. This is just the inference. We don't know. But my experience with that is, suspect.
I think the law enforcement officer it was his discretion because the gentleman was asleep in the vehicle, and the gentleman did say, if you watch the video carefully, he does say you can even take me home or I'll walk back to the house or what have you. He wasn't willing to drive. He parked there. He felt like he wasn't in the condition to drive. So he did say that, but I didn't see much in terms of major violations and the way the interaction went between the officer and Mr. Brooks. My biggest complaint was he spent significant amount of times interviewing the young man. They had a very cordial and respectful reaction to one another. And when the young man resisted, what have you, like we say, due to fear of how everything has taken place in the history of this country, it ain't nothing new to the African American community. It did not have to come to the point where he had to shoot the man in the back 2 times. He fired the gun 3 times, but hit him twice in the back. There's no way your life in danger when a man running away from you. And if, like I said, if you're that fearful of your life when you're interacting with African Americans, I think you're in the wrong profession because it's not costing you guys, it's costing us lives every day. And people have to go, and you see the family is distraught on TV. We're going through this way too often. To me, I don't think you're afraid of the African American community. I just think you don't have any respect. You don't have any care for human life. Because if you did, you wouldn't have shot the man in the back. You'd have just let him get away. There's no problem with y'all going in and putting a warrant out for him and arresting him later. There's not a death sentence over being drunk in the car. If it was, I've seen a video the other day where there was a young man who was of a white complexion. The police gave him all types of leeway, and they could have used deadly force with him and killed him, and it would have been justified. They did not. They gave him every opportunity until they got him contained. And that's what black people look at. There's a large discrepancy between the communities. So if you pull us over and you talking, black folks are already apprehensive because we don't trust you. I don't think you deserve to be trusted based on your history. Other people might be more trusted, but me personally, I think you earn the right not to be trusted. And people who do, I think is foolish because a person has shown you over and over. It's take 400 years plus of torment, torture, just total devastation to a people. And then you want to go and let's go talk about some new legislation. We don't need legislation, man. This thing way past that point. These people is just crazy. It's not working out. Something has to change, and it's going to change sooner or later. But at the moment, it's not working, so start asking dumb questions about why he running, why he resisting. You need to walk in our shoes for a little while. Then you understand you'll be running too if you have to deal with a people as crazy as we've been dealing with for the last 400 years.
You hate to laugh, but baby, we back to the same point now. We tired of explaining. We ain't gonna explain no more.
Right. There ain't no need to explain. And like we've been saying, we're gonna keep saying it until it happens. We pushing and promote reparations for our people. $300 trillion.
800 trillion?
Yes. And it's not, don't look at the figure and say, wow, that's 100 times China's GDP. They have one of the largest economies in the world. We don't care about that, bro. We got millions of African Americans.
Over 500 million.
Who've been killed, maimed, robbed, stolen from, everything you can name of.
The bounty hunter crossed the track of Africa to on the ship to drop all the millions they threw overboard to catch the insurance. They're getting here, they're dying of all the diseases, they're dying in the field, they're getting killed, they're getting the children, all this.
Now
That's building all your country.
And the rest of the world done heard it so much they done become immune to it. It's real human beings. It's real lives. It's nothing you can become immune to and get used to. If you do, you're not a human. That's the way we look at it.
So let's just take, for instance, how many people did they say Hitler killed?
Allegedly 10 million total died in the hands of Germany, but they say 6 million Jews approximately.
Okay, so let's just round up to 15 million people the man killed. We're saying 500 million.
Well, according to America's math, though, based on value, we still in the hole. That's the way it seemed to be. Because we get slaughtered at a rate, like we said, we go to jail 2 times more and likely to be killed. So I guess that's the mathematics they're using.
I'm just saying, look at what's going on with the President of the United States of America. Our president,
yes,
as well, is wanting to cause race riots with his people. Okay, amongst you, and it caused dissension in the country. organized chaos. We talked about that last video. When you throw something over there and it explodes, and then we looking over there and you doing some dissension over here. It's called organized chaos. That's how you disrupt everything and throw some quick legislation out there. Pass all these darn gay rights bills that don't have nothing to do with black people. And that's what they out there protesting. Gay people already got a bunch of rights. Where's the rights for black people? Okay,
yes.
Where's all of our legislation that's been passed? Where's our reparations? We don't have it. By the time you finish with Trump, most black people don't even want to stay here no more.
and as you can see, that my wife is the perfect example of the African American community. Why I continue to say they are beautiful and loving people, because they continue to try to find humanity in people that continue to do wrong and violate us as a people. But like I say, to me, it's too much talk has been taking place for the last, I would say, the last century. And it has gotten anyone anywhere. All of our people just continue to get killed. Anytime you get a leader to rise up and try to do stuff for his people, try to help his people, not hurt anybody else, not belittle any other people, just do something for his own people. He get demonized, killed, thrown in jail or something like that. Man, it's a wrap, bro.
They call it the Black Messiah. So
yes.
J. Edgar Hoover came up with the Black Messiah concept, where that was the thing that America was most afraid of, was a black man rising up and being able to, raise people up and head on out. So that's why they always kill or get rid of most of the African American leaders, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of them. Okay, Black Panthers, they all got killed. Okay, and in front of everybody on national TV, and nobody ever did anything or found out who killed them. Nothing really happened to the situation. It just caused the black people to calm down. So the Black Messiah concept is that now the whole mass, population is rowdy.
Well, it's all good though, because we got a real Messiah coming that you can't kill. And he's gonna handle business. He's gonna balance the books. So that's why I'm through talking and pleading and all that kind of stuff. Right now, all you can do until all that take place is cut us our check and try to make stuff easy on you in the future. That's all. And we'll be blessed. Y'all will be blessed for it in the future. And we can just handle business accordingly.
Yeah. Is withholding on your tab worth your salvation?
That's it. And like I say, I ain't gonna hold ill will towards anybody. I ain't gonna say what's done is done, but what I say, I turn it over to the one who judges and one who takes care of all that.
Yeah, and you're already in your heart.
Right. And we, no matter what people say, well, they say if you do this and do that, I don't know. Like I say, I trust the Lord. He'll handle all that business there. It's gonna get squared out. But what we're doing in the natural right here in this world is we want reparations for our people.
Yeah, how long do you continue to blame black people for your own problems, bruh? Your own problems. We don't have nothing to do with your problems.
Yes. And our community have to wake up and realize when you say allies, you don't have any allies. You really don't. You have groups that always look to piggyback off your back.
Yeah, biblically it says no man will come to save you or pay your bond.
That's
except
the
Lord.
No man will buy you.
Yep, that's it. So
with that being said, like I said, y'all chill, because the Lord is good and he will handle this. He'll take care of everybody, and everybody who acting a fool, he got something for you. And the people that love him and do like they supposed to and turn from all the wickedness and evil that's going on right now, he will bless you. And that's all you need to do is seek the Lord, and we'll all be in a great place in this country to be able to get on its feet and get back. But at the moment, it's not doing too swell. And the first step is what, honey? 300 trillion. But with that being said, we thank y'all so much. And just, if you have any comments or any kind of thing that you feel like you wanted to add to this particular topic, or you have your own personal views about the situation, please feel free. Whatever. You don't have to agree with us or anything. but just leave a comment and we will respectfully reply. And likewise.
And share with your friends, your family. Start talking about it. Get a good number in there. Spread the word. It's time to deuces, y'all.
That's it. And everybody out there, be safe and make sure you respect everybody and take care of your family and don't fall for the okie doke. Keep your eyes open. And with that being said, don't forget to subscribe and good night.
Good night.